Hi, this is Murray from Second Time Tech, and today we're going to do the third part of the build, and it'll be on the coolers for the CPU, and it will be on mounting the motherboard into the case. Anyway, so basically what there is about AMD is there's two ways that you can connect a CPU cooler to your motherboard or your CPU, whichever you want to call it. And one is the older way to do it that AMD had been using for a long time, and that's with these. There's two tabs. I'll show them whenever when I'll lift it up, but you won't be able to see it as well. But when I put the camera in close, I'll show you a little better. But there's a tab right here and a tab right here, and what it is there's a lever that you can use for an aftermarket cooler, which is a much higher end cooler than the one that you get with your CPU. Now this one's free, and this one in Canada costs $29. Just let me check here. I have it open. $29.99, and this one's a thermal take contact silent 12. So if you're going to be doing overclocking more than a bit, like you want to do like a fair amount of overclocking, then suggest go to something like this. But if you're just going to do like a little bit of overclocking or let it run the way it runs out of the box type thing, then you definitely don't need anything more than the cooler that comes with it. And free is a lot cheaper than almost, well, $30. Now, on Amazon US, I tried to find the same cooler, but on Amazon US, they have a new one, and it's a thermal take cooling fan, and it's got like a red ring fan on it, and it's $36.34. Okay, so now I angled the camera down a little bit so that you can see the motherboard a little better. Someday I'll have a better system, but we'll have to go with this for now. And when I was talking about earlier, maybe you can see it a lot better now. There's a piece of plastic here and a couple of screws, and a piece of plastic here and a couple of screws. And it's got a tab here and a tab there. And basically what you're doing on the aftermarket ones is it has these little clasps right here and here. And the way you're putting it on is you take your unit and you just kind of go like this. Well, of course, first you have to put your thermal paste down. When you get it, sometimes it's already on the base. Same with this one. It would be on the bottom. But sometimes it's not, and what you have to do is you have to use some thermal paste, and I'll show you that. Most of the time you get it with it, one way or another, either in a little tube or a little packet, or it's on it. Okay, so I'm not putting anything on this one because this isn't the one that I'm going to show you or keep on it. I'm just going to be using this one because we're trying to make it inexpensive. So basically that's all you're doing is you're just using those little clips, and you go down here on this side here and you push it down with your thermal paste on, and then you take this and you clasp it down on that one there. And then that's what holds it in place. So, but like I say, I'm not going to go right through the whole thing because this is not what we're using. So I'll put that over there. This is what we're going to use here, the one that comes with it. So basically what you have to do is on the back of the motherboard, as you can see, there's a plate. right here. And what that plate does, well, maybe I've put that up too high, sorry. A plate right there. And what that plate does is it holds down these two brackets. So we're going to have to take these brackets off because this one doesn't have a bracket to hold it down. What it does is it has 4 screws to hold it down. So what's going to happen is it's going to be using the same holes as what these screws use in order to hold down your little pieces of plastic. So now the next thing we got to do is put this on. Well, actually, that's not quite true because I already said it. Next thing we got to do is we have to put thermal paste down. But like I say, when you get these and they're brand new out of the box and you're just on, there will be some thermal paste right on side of that there. So that's all that you have to use. But because I've been doing a few different things and trying it a few different times and playing around with it, I have to use thermal paste. So I have a little tube of thermal paste right here. Anyway, so basically what you're going to do is you're just going to put that straight on if it has the thermal paste on it. But if it doesn't, then what you do is you're just basically unscrewing the little cap on here. And then right in the center, you put a pea-size amount of thermal paste. That's all you need, because this is very viscous. And viscous means that it'll spread easily. So whenever we screw this thing down, it's going to move. It's going to squish between here and there, and it'll make that all flatten out and cover the whole thing. And I've done this a lot of times, and it doesn't look like there's much there, but there's definitely enough. So basically what you're doing is these 4 screws right here, you're going to put in these holes right there. And you can tell there's a big difference. It says AMD right there. So normally the way I always put it is I put the AMD over on this side. And the reason why I do that is in case I get really big memory or thick memory, then it won't be in the way. So basically that's the way I do it. It works fine. So now whenever you're putting it down, I've taken my glasses off. Oh yeah, you can't see me. Basically what you're doing is you want to not go too far away from the holes. So you want to line them up really carefully. Okay. And then as you're screwing it down, you only want to do a little at a time. Just like maybe 2 or 3 turns on each one. And if you've ever changed tires, you know that you do a crosshatch pattern. And that's so that it tightens down evenly on your wheel, so that you don't crack crack your hub. I don't think I got this one started. Push harder. There we go. Alright, so turn this one a little bit more. And basically all you're doing is you're turning it until it stops. And once it stops, stop turning. Because you don't want to over tighten it. because you don't want to crack anything either. And there's springs there, and the spring is there basically to stop you from over tightening. So once it gets down there and it won't turn anymore, turning properly. There. 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 And then we'll just go back to here, just double make sure. There. So there, it's on there good and tight. And what I normally do, just to make sure, is like that. And then that way there, you know that's on there good and tight. It's not loose anywhere. And you just make a double check just to make sure that's on good. And then this here is your fan header. Your fan cable. And what you look on your motherboard is for, it'll say CPU fan. And right on here, that's where it says CPU fan. So basically, what we're going to do now is we're just going to connect the cable, and right here, I don't know if you can see or not, there's a little slot right there. And then there's a little, on the, like where the pins are, in the back, there's a little piece of plastic. And you want that little piece of plastic is to go right in between those two things here. So it's keyed so that it goes in the right way. So basically, the plastic, little piece of plastic is on this side towards me. And so that's what I did, is I put the little key there towards me. And then there's 4 pins. And basically, you stick it down inside there, and there you go. That part is done. Now, there's different things that you can do to this, but right now, I'm just going to leave it sit down here for now, and we can figure out a better way to make that look a little nicer there later. So that's basically how you put the fan onto the CPU. Now, the next thing that we were going to do is we were going to mount the motherboard into the case. Now, this is the case. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be taking off the one part of the case, which is the front part for now. And then the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put in your shield for the back of the computer, which goes to the I/O of your motherboard. So basically, what I normally do is I look for the holes for where your audio is, and I aim that to the bottom of your case, because that's usually where they're going to end up being, is at the bottom of your case. But I mean, different ones differ, so you can try out different ones. There we are. Last step, put it back in place there. So then, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your standoffs are in the right places for the holes on your motherboard. Then you're going to take your motherboard here, and then because the I/O shield is over here and the little holes, they're towards the bottom, so you're going to be putting it in this way here. And you look where the holes are, and then you put your motherboard in. On this case, because of the way that it's made, with the drive bays up on the top, what you have to do is you have to take your fan out. Otherwise, you can't get your motherboard in there. That was for me, for my video editing. So there, I just got the fan out. Put it over there. And then I'll take the motherboard and we'll get it in there this time, for sure. The fan was just in the way. Basically, the best way to do that is to put it in the right way. Everybody makes mistakes. I've been doing this a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes. So basically, you get that then down in there, and then you line up your I/O. There we go. So that's all in there nice and good. And then you make sure that the holes for your standoffs are in the right place. And they are. But what I need right now are the screws to mount the motherboard. So I got one here. And that's the first thing that you want to do is you just want to start it. You do not want to put it in tight. Because if you put it in tight, you won't be able to move your motherboard around. And you need to find the right one to work. And that's the one that works. So it's the screws that have, for this one, it's the screws that have the smaller size head on it. And smaller. And remember, don't put them in too tight. And there's 6 of them that you have to do. On this one, 4 of them. It's not 6, it's 4. I was thinking it was 6. But nope, I am wrong. It is 4. Nope, I am wrong. It is 6. It's 6. Usually the ones that are 4 are the mini ITX cases. And this is a micro ATX. Oops, sorry. And this is a micro ATX motherboard. So it uses a few more screws. And the other one. Fell off my magnetic screwdriver. Happens sometimes. That's just life. Number 6. Okay, now that you've got them set in there correctly, what you're going to do now is tighten them down. But you only tighten them down a little bit. You don't tighten them down really hard because you don't want to break anything. And it's only to stop the motherboard from moving around, so it doesn't have to be really hard, just snug. And me, for this one, I like to start at the top and work my way down to the bottom, just so that everything lines up a little better. I know it's hard to see, so I'll lift it up and I'll show you where the screws were, because it's very hard to do with one hand. Maybe I can do this here, and maybe you can see it just a little bit better. So basically the screws are here, 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 and one down there, and then one right over here. But you'll see the holes whenever you're doing the install of the motherboard. And there you go. The motherboard is now installed. Whoops, dropped something on the floor. Picked that up after. Probably my glasses. So for my next video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be finding out where all these cables go here, putting them in on the motherboard in the right places, and then putting this fan back in, and plugging this fan and the front fan in on the fan headers on the motherboard. And I guess that's what I'll be doing for the next video, which should be in 2 days. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye.